Yastyakva rupamadhyam prabhavati jagataha anekadha anugrahaya prakshena klesharashihi vishama vishadharaha anekavatra subhogi sarvajnana prasutihi bhujaga parikaraha pretaye yasya nityam devo aheshaha savovyat seta vimalatanoho yogado yogayuktaha yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarotam pravaram muninam Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram shankha chakrasidharinam sahasra shirasam shritam pranamami patanjalim Srimate Anantaya Nagarajaya Namo Namaha Patanjala Mahabhashya Charaka Pratisamskritai Manovakaya Doshanam Hatre Ahipataye Namaha Bhashyakrit Sutrakrit Chapi Nirmalantam Surupinam Dhyataram Shripatir Nityam Patanjalim Namamyaham Shauchat Swanga Jugupsa Bharairas Samsargaha Sattva Shuddhi Saumanasya Ācārya Indriya Jaya Atmadarshana Yogyatwanicham. So namaste my friends, last week we completed the yamas and their benefits. We talked about aparigraha, the concept of non-grasping, to put it in a simple way, non-accumulation of things, hoarding, the opposite of hoarding, so that we are able to start to understand the purpose of our life and actually fulfill our life. Slowly Patanjali moves to the benefits of the niyamas. The first of the niyama is called Shuchi, Sauca. And Patanjali is actually dividing the benefits of Sauca into two different sutras. So 40 and 41 of the second chapter concern the benefits of what is called Shuchi or Saucham, the first of the niyamas. The 40th sutra, Sauchat Swanga Jugupsa Paraihi Asamsargaha, is related, connected to what is called as external cleanliness or body cleanliness, the cleanliness of the external faculties of the body. The 41st sutra, Sattva Shuddhi Saumanasya Ācārya Indriya Jaya Atma Darshana Yogyattvanicha, represents the concept called Manasika Sauca or the Abhyantara Sauca, the internal cleansing or the cleansing of the internal faculties that includes mind and our heart, etc. So what Patanjali is saying, Sauchat, the first sutra, 40th, Sauchat Swanga Jugupsa Paraihi Asamsargaha. Saucham means Bhakya Shuchi. So we have certain procedures that we have to undertake on a daily basis in order to make our body, the external faculties of the body, clean, to keep it clean. Now this includes things like having a bath, but it's not only having a bath, but it is also practicing a set of procedures that are called like Dinacharya, where you are not only having a bath, but you're also applying different things on the body, like vibhuti, etc. If you are a Shaiva, or certain purificatory paste in the body, on the body. If you are a Vaishnava, the different traditions have these kind of procedures. And what Patanjali is saying is we have to practice it according to our vidhi. Our vidhi means the procedures that are ordained by our sampradaya that we are following. Now this is very, very important because our body's system is used to a particular way of functioning for thousands of years. So just think about it. If you are running a car on petrol or diesel for many, many years, just because some new fuel is coming, you can't just put the new fuel in the car. You may have to change the engine or change the car itself. The same way our body is used to certain procedures for a long period of time, and we need to use those kind of procedures in order to keep our body pure and clean. Now, the reason for the cleanliness is because our body, our sharira, is defined as that which decays, that which is always getting polluted. Shing Shayane, that is the root of the word sharira, which means that which is always decaying. Because it is from the day we are born, we are moving towards death. So in one way, we are moving towards the state of decay. Now this is because our body accumulates a lot of unhealthy things as we are going forward. So that's why from a very cellular level, we have certain waste elimination methods that are ordained in our system. For example, breathing. Exhalation is the elimination system. Eating. Our toilet activity is the eliminating system. That's why in our national language, Hindi, the toilet is actually called Shauchalaya. That means the place where you are cleaning yourself, the place where your body is detoxing the impurities. So we have to do this because the body is not always a perfect instrument, so it needs to consume resources to fuel itself, and any process of converting nourishment into fuel will always create some kind of waste which has to be eliminated. And that's why in our system, the concept of elimination, the body is eliminating at least through three ways, what is called Mutra, Mala and Sveda. We are eliminating through urine, we are eliminating through fecal matter, and we are eliminating through sweat. And the body is continuously doing that. Now, because the body is continuously doing that, we have to continually clean the body again and again, so that it becomes an instrument that is clean for using for the next purpose. Now, once again, this is connected very strongly with the theory of karma. I know many of you may not be open to this idea in modern time, but to always try to give you a metaphor to help you understand. It's very simple. Let's say, for example, you have an instrument that is called a knife. Now you are using this knife to cut some tomatoes. Now next you want to use the same knife to cut some onions. Now next you want to use the same knife to cut some bread. Of course, many of you from luxurious countries may say, oh, I have a special knife for tomato, I have a special knife for bread, I have a special knife for onion. We poor Indians, we don't have the choice. Traditionally, we only have one knife for everything. Now, what are we doing with this knife? Once we cut the tomato, we have to wipe it clean or wash it clean before we cut the onion. After we cut the onion, we have to again clean it so that we cut the bread. Otherwise, the impression of the onion will go into the bread. The impression of the tomato will go into the onion, and that's how the cycle will continue. So, when an instrument is being used, if it is not cleaned again and again, then the impression of the previous act is carried on to the next act. As simple as that. Now, this is what is karma theory. When you perform one activity through this instrument, that is called the body. Now, if you are not cleaning yourself for the next activity, the karma of one will be taken into the karma of the next. That's why the ancient people created certain samskaras of purification, where they are basically saying that you have to cleanse this instrument from one activity to the other so that it becomes fit for the next act. That's what Ācārya, Krishnamacharya says in the Yoga Valley, samskaro nama uttara karma arhata yogyata dhanam. We are doing some purificatory samskaras which is giving this body and mind, our faculties, the yogyata means the right or eligibility for the next activity in a pure way. Otherwise, the influence of the previous act is spilled over onto the next act. Think about it in a more symbolic way. To go to a hospital, the doctor is performing some surgery on you. So there is a lot of blood, there is a lot of diseased tissue that they are removing. Now after they have to go to the next patient, if they don't clean themselves, what will happen? The next patient will also get the disease of the first patient, secondary infection. So we don't allow that, we are cleaning. That is why we have to clean ourselves for every activity so that there is no spillover from one to the other. That is the purpose of Sauca, external cleanliness. That is why they created certain samskaras where they would purify themselves for those particular activity and not spill over into the next. So this is what is called Sauca, Bhakya Shuchi. Now Bhakya Shuchi is normally done with material called water. Water is the most purifying element, and that is why it is called Pavitra. So in the Pavamana Suktam, this is what is described, that water is the great purifier. So that is why in the traditional system, we are using water to wash our body, water to wash the vegetables, water to wash our instruments, etc. Now, of course, sometimes this water may not be available. In the old days, the reason was not because there was lack of water in the environment, but the reason may have been that the water is not accessible where the sages were going. Maybe they are walking through a forest and there is no water readily available. Then what about Shuchi? They had what is called Mantrika Shuchi. They would recite certain mantras to make it Shuchi. One of the great mantras is Apavitra Pavitro Va Sarvavasthan Gatopi Va Yasmare Kundari Kacha Sabhya Abhyantara Shuchi. This mantra is for both internal and external purification. For purifying instruments, for example, you are using a knife or you are using some kind of instruments for cooking and things like that, you don't have water. You also did Mantrika Snana using the mantra Pranava Om. And this is got Vedic testimony. Om iti tagum sarvam Om iti brahma prasauti Om ityagnihotra manujanati Om shomiti shastrani shagum santi Om iti shastrani shamsanti. The mantra Om is purifying the shastra. Shastra means instruments. So in the old days when the people were going, for example, they were carrying some simple metallic bowls or things like that which they were using for the rituals. In our local language it is called Panchapatra. This was standard accessory for all yogis, traveling yogis. Now that they have to use every day, they have to clean it. Suppose water is not available, all they would do was recite the Pranava mantra. The Pranava has the power to purify. The testimony of the Vedas says, Om Shomiti Shastrani Shagum Santi. It's coming in the Taittiriya Shikshavali. So when we have these procedures, it's because we are making it karmically clean for the next activity. Because karma is a great sticker, it sticks to us. So you have to keep eliminating the karma again and again. We are lazy today. And what we are doing, we are actually making our body somehow more sticky. A lot of money is now spent on cosmetics, moisturizer we put in our face, in our hands. What is moisturizer? It makes it more moist, making it therefore more sticky. So the more moisturizer you put, the more dirt will stick to you, especially if you come to India where there is so much dust. Dust will stick to people who have more moisturizer than less. That's why it's better to be dry and clean than moist and dirty. This is the problem. And I'm talking in a metaphoric sense. Because kapha is in our body the one that is holding on to this karma. Kapha controls laziness. If we don't clean ourselves again and again, either literally or metaphorically, the karma is going to stick and stick and stick. So what Patanjali says, when you start practicing Sauca on a regular basis, Sva Anga Jugupsa, you start developing Jugupsa, very strong word, disgust for your own body. Sva Anga Jugupsa, because you realize that this body is not clean, this body is not clean, this body is not clean. Now the more you are cleaning yourself, the more your karmic toxins will also be cleaned. So it is possible that your mind and senses start to see the ancestral karma and the toxins that you have accumulated. So you start to develop, my God, why the hell did I accumulate this body? I don't want this body because there is something much more purer which is part of us, that is called the Purusha. So we start developing a kind of disgust to the body because we realize that the body is an obstacle for our freedom, especially a body with toxins. And some of these toxins are not going to go easily just because you are cleaning. Because please understand, when we are not karmically clean, we may have dirt in the body in the form of diseases. Ayurveda says, Purva Janma Kritam Papam Vyadhi Rupena Badhyate. The karmic sins that you are creating may manifest as diseases in your body. The karmic sins that not only you but your ancestors are doing will manifest as diseases in your body. So imagine if you have some eczema or rash. It need not be because you are having some problem. It could be because some kind of karmic problem you have created in the past that is manifesting as disease. Some karmic problem your ancestors have done that is manifesting in terms of your disease. I see this in my own experience in life, where I see that many people have not been very kind and nice to the people who have helped them and supported them. They all start to get some form or the other, some kind of diseases or illnesses. And this has happened in so many cases, not only now but also historically. Because body has this karmic accumulation that starts to manifest as illnesses. So that's why you start developing this disgust, because sometimes you realize that the illnesses that your body is having is not even your own. It may be your ancestors' bad karma that is making you suffer. That's why you will get disgusted, not because your body is not beautiful or attractive. That is not what Patanjali is talking about, because in the time of Patanjali, there was no mirror, there was no fashion industry yet. There was no Instagram or Facebook where you could get appreciated by thousands of likes and still you feel insecure. In those days, people were talking about what the body represented, which is an instrument to fulfill your dharma. Everything in the traditional science was that there is related with the theory of karma. If you make a knife, that knife has a dharma to fulfill. If you are having a knife, that knife needs to be used for a particular purpose. If you don't use it but keep it as a decoration, you are not allowing the karma of the knife to be fulfilled. The same way, this body is there for a particular duty. If you don't allow this body to fulfill the duty, you are not allowing the karma of that body to manifest. So therefore it creates problems. This is a very big issue in modern time, because either because of our own insecurities, or because of what other people will think or say, or because of ego, or because our family like husband, wife, or mother-in-law, father-in-law, grandfather-in-law, uncle, neighbor don't allow us to fulfill our dharma. We kind of not express our dharma. The body becomes a problem because it is not able to fulfill its karmic responsibility. So that's why the ancient people looked at this as an instrument for a particular purpose, not an instrument for decoration. That is what modern society is doing, which is we are treating body as an instrument to be decorated upon. You put makeup, you put fashionable clothes, you put sunglasses of different types, hair of different colors. So it becomes a more decorative piece rather than a piece that has to fulfill its destiny. So that's why we have to clean the body of these toxins so that it becomes closer and closer to fulfilling its original karma. It is original dharma. This is the essence of the first part of the Shuchi Sutra. Once we have dealt with the body cleanliness, that's not enough. Patanjali says, more important than the body cleanliness, because you will develop disgust with your body, but even more, you have to start to develop an internal cleanliness. Now, one aspect of the previous sutra is also there. Paraihi asamsargaha. You will develop a detachment from other people's bodies. Because think about it, the more you clean, the more you realize that you have enough toxins to clean from your own ancestry. If you engage with other people's bodies, you will have to start cleaning their karma as well, because that will also stick to you. So that's why the ancient people, they were not very close physically to too many bodies. They were very particular who they made contact with and who they did not. And normally they would only have contact with people who have done the same purificatory procedures, so that the karma is not sticking neither from them to us or from us to them. That's why when we are doing these karmic procedures that have been given to us, we are both kind of insulating ourselves so that karma is not getting transferred one to the other. So it's not becoming a communicable disease. This is very, very important to understand. That's why we will develop a distance from other people, especially in the domain of contact. More important is what is called Sattva Shuddhi. Sattva Shuddhi means the cleanliness of the mind, of our mental faculty. And Ācārya, Krishnamacharya says, this is very, very important, because this is what makes us fit for spirituality. Patanjali says, Atma Darshana Yogyatvanica. The Sattva Shuddhi gives us, as one of the benefits, the eligibility to have the vision of the Atma. The self-realization will not happen until your mind is clean and pure. What is the meaning of mind is pure? What Ācārya Krishnamacharya says is that when it is devoid of the 6 terrible afflictions which are bothering us in the mental state: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Kama is like sensual distractions, like sensual pleasure. Now this is not only about sexuality, it's also about food or things which are for vision or hearing. We can get lost in this sensual pleasure. Now when we do that, then we are trapped by the senses. The mind has no more power. That's why mind is weak. It's not sattva shuddhi, it's not clean yet, because it's under the control of somebody else. It's not pure in its own control. Same krodha, anger. No problem can be resolved with anger. And today in modern society, anger seems to be the most favored emotion among people. Everybody gets angry for everything. Now, people who are angry are not fit for spirituality. That's why, in my view, this is the great difference between what religion does and what spirituality teaches us. In religion, we become very angry with our other religious members, because religion creates kind of an egoistic identity, and therefore we become angry with others who are not part of the same religion. And it's common to all religions, not just one. Most of the religions are fighting like this. Krodha. Moha, a form of delusion. You are completely deluded. You are blinded. What blinds you? Perhaps anger blinds you. Perhaps sensuality blinds you. Perhaps other things blind you. Ego blinds you. So we get deluded completely. That is what is called moha. Now, what is also a problem for the mind is what is called mada, which is the extreme form of anger, what we call rage, destructive anger. Now in anger, if you don't react, maybe you are not burning the bridge. But when mada is active, you are burning the bridge. So there is no return. You are destroying yourself and others. And that is what happens. This is what is called mada. The metaphor that is used is when the elephant is angry and is going through the forest, it destroys the whole forest. It's chopping down all the trees. Now the trees may have taken hundreds of years to grow, but it's all destroyed in one moment. Now it kills the elephant itself because maybe the tree was the food for the elephant, the leaves. Or maybe the trees were the hiding place for the elephant to not get trapped by the hunters. But now it has exposed itself. So the same happens with mada when we are in rage. We destroy things without even having the clarity that maybe what we are destroying is actually what is protecting us or safeguarding us. That's the destructive form of anger that is called mada. Then comes lobha, greed. We want more and more. We don't want to share. We want more and more. We don't want to share. Recently, I read one article that is so fascinating, where it said that the 3 most rich people in America have more money than the lower 100 million people. Now, that's kind of a symbolic concept of this thing called greed. Because greed is like a bottomless pit. The more you fill, the more it wants. And people don't even have some kind of logic to have more and more. That's what is called lobha. It's extreme greed that you don't want to share, you want to take everything for yourself. It will eventually consume you. Humanity's biggest problem is this. That's why we are taking more resources from the earth than actually we need. We discussed this in aparigraha. We are taking more resources from the earth than we actually need. Why? Because we are not feeling complete with what we have. We want always more. And we want more at the cost of others. That's the problem. We don't care if others are dying. As long as we are getting rich, that's enough. As long as we are becoming more and more wealthy, that's enough. So we don't see what we are doing. Then comes matsarya, jealousy. You may have what another person has, but you are jealous that the other person has the same thing that you have, or that you don't have what the other person has. This is called matsarya. This is what is called matsarya. Sometimes I overhear conversations in the capital of the world, that is called Sangeeta Vegetarian Restaurant. And there are some very nice gentlemen there, they are talking. And sometimes they say like, they are so jealous that one of their friends has bought a new car, bigger car, more expensive car, and they are so jealous. But if you look at the car that they themselves are driving, that is not so bad, that is also a very wealthy car. But the other car may be a little bit more expensive or maybe 5 centimeters bigger, but they are fighting about this, they are so jealous. Oh, that other bought it, sir, I have to buy it as well, I have got waiting list 6 months, what to do? They are so jealous that somebody else has something slightly better. This is also very human nature that comes from insecurity, what is called Matsarya. So all these we have to throw from the mind. Then Sattva starts to dominate. So the mind becomes filled with Sattva. What is the signs? What are the signs that the mind is filled with Sattva? Saumanasya Ācārya Indriya Jaya Atma Darshana Yogyatva. Saumanasyam Shobhanam Manaha Saumanasyam. That's the definition from the etymological roots. The mind is shining. Nobody knows this because we are not using our mind. Our mind is shining. What is the meaning of that? It's shining in its potential. So the mind will shine in its potential. That is what is called Shobhanam Manaha. It radiates. Now, this may not be the same for everybody. Perhaps one person's mind is having one potential, which is to do mathematics, and they are shining. That is Saumanasya for them. Another person may be doing music. That is Saumanasya for them. So it's not that everybody will have to have the same kind of shining. It will be in their potential, it will shine. Another thing that Ācārya, Krishnamacharya says is that the mind, which is Saumanasya, represents what is called 6 qualities. Daya, Saushilya, Vatsalya, Virya, Karunya, Nidra, Sahita, Chittaha. The mind is shining with 6 qualities. The first one is called Daya. This is compassionate. A clean mind is a compassionate mind. A clean mind is not an incompassionate mind. And sometimes the clean mind is compassionate not only to human being but also to other species, like animals. For example, there is a great story in the story of Ramanuja, our ancestor, where he and his student are walking along and they see a snake, a poisonous cobra, which cannot close its mouth because there is a thorn stuck in its mouth. Now, it's a poisonous snake. If you remove the thorn, it is possible the snake bites you. You don't remove the thorn, you are not compassionate. What do? So Ramanuja and his student, they are actually removing the thorn because they are compassionate to even the poisonous snake. It's metaphor that sometimes we have to be compassionate even to those who are poisonous to us. And there are many who are poisonous in this world, especially in the yoga field. Yoga field is filled with toxic, poisonous people. And usually they are in positions of power. They like to go and sit in institutions of power because they don't really shine as yoga teachers very well. So they need to somehow show they are so great. So they will go and become president of this association or president of this yoga body or this or that. They will try to do that. So even to such toxic people, we have to have daya, that is called compassion. Saushilyam means you have to have somehow certain moral, ethical behavior towards yourself and towards people. You are not going to sacrifice yourself for others, but at the same time you are not going to abuse others for your benefit. So this is what is called Saushilyam, comes from the word Shila. Shila means a good nature. So Saushilyam means somebody who's got good nature. Good nature is represented through certain appropriate behavior. Now this doesn't mean politeness or things like that. You have to do what is appropriate. The third is called Vatsalyam. Vatsalyam is somehow what is called fondness. Fondness, affectionate. You are affectionate towards yourself, you are affectionate towards other people, you are affectionate towards the environment, you are affectionate towards animals. This is what is called Vatsalyam. Vatsalyam, very beautiful word, and it is one of the first words in the Ashtakam called Narayana Ashtakam. Vatsalyat abhaya pradana samayat artharti nirvapanat. So there are different forms in which we can reach the God. One of them is called Vatsalyam, which is affection. Another synonym for Bhakti. Vatsalya, Virya, confident. If your mind is pure, you will not have fear to speak or act what is right, what is appropriate. This is part of the problem. We are political people, so we are manipulative. We don't speak the truth. We think, oh, if we tell the truth, that fellow will not like me, that fellow will not like me, I will not get this position, I will not get this contract. So we start to manipulate. And we are experts in manipulation in today's society. That's how business works today. That's the opposite. Virya means confident. Confident in your actions, in your words, in your expression. Karunyam, compassionate. When people are suffering, we have to have compassion towards those who are suffering. We must not enjoy the suffering of others. This is human beings. Think about the circus, how it originated, the origins of circus. It's a very torturous thing we are doing to human beings. We are asking a human to fight with a mad animal or lion or tiger, and one of them will get killed, either the man or the lion. And we are celebrating, we are enjoying in somebody's suffering. Somebody dies with a lion, we are clapping. Somebody kills the lion, we are clapping. Bullfighting we have in some countries. So we are not compassionate to creatures, human beings. But a person whose mind is pure, that person will become compassionate, karunya. Forgiving is another meaning for this. You are also forgiving in nature, you don't hold grudges. Human beings, we hold grudges for a long time, sometimes for eternity. We transmit these grudges to our children, who will transmit to their children, who will transmit to their children, and then you have the Middle East crisis. Last one, Nidra, sleep. A person whose mind is clean will be able to sleep well. Whereas a person whose mind is not clean, who is disturbed by some thoughts of this or that, their sleep will be disturbed. This is what is called Saumanasya. 6 attributes will manifest. So when our mind becomes more and more pure, these things become more and more obvious. Not only that, Sattva Shuddhi, Saumanasya, Ācārya. Ācārya, the capacity to remain focused. There are so many of us who are so unfocused today. There was a statistic released by the advertising agencies a few months ago where they said that the average attention span of a viewer is about 5 seconds. So that's why all advertisements are like between 5 and 10 seconds, not more. Whereas if you saw the advertisements in 1980s, they would go on for like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. We have the same little advertisement for soap. Now you just get it in 5 seconds, the clip. Whereas in the 1980s, they will show the whole drama of the lady jumping in the waterfall and washing her head, washing her body and this and that. Then finally the little advert soap will come in the screen and then you will sell it. 30 seconds people would actually watch. Whereas now it's 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. Within 1 over, there is like 5 advertisements coming when 1 over to the other in the cricket game, which is normally about 30 seconds. 5 advertisements are coming. So attention span is very limited. If we can't have attention to watch a TV advertisement for 5 seconds, how are we going to have the experience of samadhi which may last for hours? That's why we are so far away from that. Whereas when we start practicing Sauca of the mind when it's becoming more and more cleaner, the longer and longer it can focus. The longer and longer it can focus. Today we have the same problem in yoga school. People want to sign up, then don't want to sign up, then they want to sign up, then they don't want to sign up, they want to sign up, they don't. there's no clarity in what they want to do. Shall I come? Shall I not come? Shall I come? Shall I not come? So there's no consistent focus. That is what is Ācārya that will come. Ācārya is a state of what Patanjali, what Ācārya Krishnamacharya says, Vikshipta Rahita. A state where there is no distraction. Ācārya, Indriya Jaya. Indriya Jaya is Indriya Vashīkarana. Your senses are under control. Now senses are a very important tool that we have to use for fulfilling our dharma. But if the senses take over, then we have a problem. So we have this body, we have the mind, we have the eyes, nose, etc. That are senses to see, to hear, to smell, etc. So we have to use that in an appropriate way, and we have to stop using when it is not for the time for it to use. That is part of the problem with our faculties. We have to use the mind when it is time for using the mind, and stop using the mind when it is not the time to use the mind. But we are so great experts of using the mind when it is not meant to be used, and not using the mind when it is meant to be used. That's the problem. That is not Indriya Jaya. So Indriya Jaya is to control the senses when it needs to be controlled. There has to be some kind of limit. That's the problem we have today. We have so many products that are our temptation that it is distracting us. Indriya Jaya is coming as a consequence of Sattva Shuddhi. Atma Darshana Yogyattvanicha. This is also another benefit. You become fit for self-realization. Very important. It's almost like this is the visa for you to enter the domain of self-realization. Patanjali does not say that if you have Sattva Shuddhi, you will have self-realization. He doesn't say that this is automatic. He says this will make you fit for that, which makes it, actually he's saying, if you don't have this, that's not possible. If you don't have the mind that is clean, that's not possible. And this is part of the problem with modern day yoga, modern day spirituality, etc., where many people come with their toxic minds to these practices, and they are agitated that they are not having the experience of enlightenment. Why? Because they are not able to let go of these toxic thoughts and emotions. That's the problem. Yoga field is the worst. We are somehow magnets for the most toxic people because they want to escape from their emotional problems. Most of them should seek counseling or therapy or things like that. They don't want to do that. They come to yoga because they think they are spiritual people, and they bring their problems here. And some of them, they are not good enough yoga teachers, because just because you are practicing yoga, it doesn't make you a good teacher. Just because you have a certificate on the wall doesn't make you a good teacher. So they are not able to succeed. So what they do, they want to show their power. They go into these organizations which are political, which are very great, because political organizations, no matter what it is, runs on this kind of manipulative, toxic behavior. So they go higher and higher in the hierarchy. And then they write president of this association, president of that association, but they are not able to have anything close to the yogic experience. Why? Because Patanjali says this, that we have to have clean mind for these experiences. We have to have this clean mind to become fit for this experience. Otherwise, we will not go close to Samadhi or Kaivalyam, which will be very, very far. This is why Yama and Niyama is a prerequisite for the Ashtanga Yoga, the following practices of the Ashtanga Yoga. Not because of something which is boring. This is why, because the Sattva Shuddhi is very, very important, that it makes us fit for the higher stages, which is not going to happen without it. We have to look at this as a container, as an instrument that needs constant cleaning so that it's fit for other activities. And unfortunately, we don't have many knives in this body. In your kitchen, you may have a different knife for different kinds of food. You may have different cups for different kind of drinks. Tea 1 cup, coffee 1 cup, juice 1 cup you may have. But this body, you don't have many. Whether you have to pray or practice, it is this body. Whether you have to go to the toilet, it's this body. Whether you have to do your cremation activity for your died family members, this is this body. You have to sleep, it is this body. You have to deal with bad emotions, it's this body. You have to travel, it's this body. There's only one instrument. Unfortunately or fortunately. So it requires constant cleaning. And that's why Ācārya Krishnamacharya says, I almost forgot to mention, that the way to perform Sattva Shuddhi, the best way to perform Sattva Shuddhi is Samantraka Pranayama or Mantra Japa or Adhyayanam or what is called Sattva Shastra Shravanam. You have to practice Mantra Japa or Samantraka Pranayama or Veda Adhyayanam, the chanting of the Vedas, or listening to Sattvic Shastras. Not all Shastras are Sattvic. There are some Shastras that are Tantric, that are Tamasic, that are Rajasic. That may not be helpful to clean your system. Because there are Shastras on warfare as well. That is not Sattvic. It is teaching you how to go to war, how to win a war. That is not Sattvic Shastra. That's why the clarification is there that Sattvic Shastra you study or learn. That will clean your mind. So these are the ways to keep the mind clean. Samantraka Pranayama, Mantra Japa, Veda Adhyayanam, Sattvika Shastra Shravanam. These are the ways. Key in all of this, if you notice, is no asana practice. This is the biggest thing that you have to note, because most of the modern yogis are obsessed with asanas and they jump from one asana to another like a monkey is jumping from one tree to the other. That's why there is no evolution with these kind of practitioners. They need to reflect and go deeper. Asana is okay, maybe a starting point to help them progress to one degree, but that should not be their sole obsession. You must transcend, and that is what Patanjali is telling us here. This is the essence of the 2 sutras on Sauca. Saucat Swanga Jugupsa Paraihi Asamsargaha Sattva Shuddhi Saumanasya Ācārya Indriya Jaya Atmadarshana Yogyatvancha. Namaste.